Every man who comes before me wants my throne. Tell me, what do you want?
The transport doors hissed open onto a world lit by 2 moons, and Elias Cade stepped out into air that smelled of ozone and crushed violet petals. He had read 40 briefings on the Valen Empire before this posting, and every single one of them described its ruler the same way: cold, untouchable, absolute. Queen Serena Vale had ruled the Valen court since she was 19, and in the 11 years since, no foreign diplomat had lasted more than a season in her presence. Elias intended to last longer than a season. He intended to end a war. The throne room was carved from black stone that seemed to drink the light. Serena sat above it all, her skin a pale, luminous blue, veined faintly with threads of violet that pulsed when she spoke, like something electric lived just beneath the surface. Her white hair was braided in dozens of thin plaits, each fastened with a small iron cuff etched in her family sigil. Her eyes were a deep amber gold, and they fixed on Elias the moment he crossed the threshold, sharp enough to cut. "Another envoy," she said, and her voice carried through the chamber without effort. "Come to tell me what your empire wants." "I know what my empire wants," Elias said. "I was hoping to ask what you want." The court went silent. No one asked the Queen of Vale what she wanted. She had been asked what she would concede, what she would tolerate, what price she would accept for peace, but never in 11 years of rule what she wanted. Serena studied him for a long moment, the violet light beneath her skin flickering faster. "You may return tomorrow," she finally said. "Alone."
He did.
He found her the next evening not on her throne but in the palace gardens, where luminous flowers opened their petals in colors that didn't exist on Earth, cyan blooms that glowed like captured stars, and blush-pink ones that hummed faintly in the dark. 2 cups of tea steamed on the table between 2 carved chairs, and Serena gestured for him to sit as if this were the most ordinary thing in the world, though he suspected it was not ordinary at all. "You surprised me," she admitted, wrapping both hands around her cup. "No one has surprised me since I took the crown. I just asked a question." "You asked the right question." She looked at the garden, not at him. "Everyone who sits across from me wants something from the Queen. No one has ever wanted anything from Serena." Over the following weeks, Elias returned again and again, not as an envoy filing reports, though he filed those too, but as a man who kept asking small, human questions. What songs did she love as a child? Which flowers she'd planted herself? Whether she'd ever wanted, even once, to simply walk through her own city unrecognized. Slowly, carefully, the Queen who ruled without flinching began to answer him honestly, and something between them shifted from diplomacy into something neither of them had a treaty for. Not everyone welcomed it. Lord Ishkur Ven, the Queen's senior military advisor, watched the humans' growing closeness to Serena with open suspicion. Ven had spent a decade profiting from the border war Elias had been sent to end, and a queen distracted by affection was, to him, a queen easily manipulated, or worse, a queen who might actually sign the peace. 3 weeks into the negotiations, as the treaty neared its final draft, Ven made his move. He forged intercepted transmissions suggesting Elias's government plan to use the peace accord as cover to smuggle weapons through Valen trade routes. He brought the falsified evidence before the full court, demanding Elias's immediate execution as a spy. Serena sat on her throne that morning with her face unreadable, the violet light beneath her skin sparking erratically, the only visible sign of the storm inside her. She had learned over these weeks to trust Elias's honesty more than anyone else's motives, including her own advisors. But a queen who ignored evidence entirely was no queen at all. "Search my ship," Elias said, kneeling before her. "Search every crate, every log, every message I've sent home. If Ven's evidence is real, you'll find it there too." She granted the search that same hour. What her engineers found instead was a discrepancy in the transmission timestamps, evidence altered after the fact, traced back to a signal originating from Ven's private quarters. By nightfall, the truth stood exposed before the full court. Ven had fabricated the entire plot to keep his war alive and his queen isolated. Serena stripped him of rank and exiled him from the capital before the sun rose twice. With the conspiracy unraveled, the treaty that followed was not the cold, cautious document either government had expected. It was signed in the garden, beneath the glowing flowers, with both leaders' names inked side by side, not queen and envoy, but Serena and Elias, two people who had chosen honesty over strategy. "You could have had anything from me by lying," Serena told him afterward, the tea between them long gone cold. "An easier war. An easier peace. Why ask instead?" "Because everyone else wanted the queen," Elias said. "I wanted to know who was under the crown." For the first time since she was 19 years old, Serena Vale laughed. Not the practiced, measured sound of court, but something real and unguarded. Above them, the twin moons rose over a garden finally at peace, and in the quiet that followed, neither of them reached for a treaty. They simply stayed, two cups steaming between them, and let the silence be enough.